Welcome to Lightning Ministries Daily Devotional. Today's topic, never too late to wait. Reading from James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, where it talks about the testing of our faith. I think the thing that makes it more difficult for most of us is that we don't want to wait. And how could testing our faith have to do with waiting? You know, patience is not something that most of us have, at least I would say not even me. Sometimes I want things to happen instantly. Other times, I'm learning to wait. Now, my question to you, have you ever wondered what it takes to wait? Think about that. In the reading that I did the other day called Why Do You Wait? Our person in the Bible, David, had made a comment that he was waiting patiently for the Lord. But how did he actually accomplish this task in waiting? My thought would have been, did he twiddle his thumbs? Did he just sit around until God recognized or acknowledged his work that he had done? Or did something else happen while he was waiting? Did his mind change? Did his perspective change? Did his outlook towards God change? And how can you and I emulate that in Samuel, where it talks about him being called a man after God's own heart? I don't think most of us seek after God's heart. I think most of us are too busy seeking out what we need to do to take care of ourselves, thinking that God's not going to do it for us. Or should I say, he's not going to help guide us. But I realize, though, that when it's put before us, regardless of our circumstances, to have to wait, it may seem somewhat counterintuitive. But I realize that waiting often involves an action on our part more than it does on God's. Now let me ask you a question here. What is it going to take for you to pause, to feel long, quiet moments, especially when you're waiting for God to give you an answer before you move forward? You know, a lot of us say, I'm not going to move until God moves. Well, God doesn't move. But what God does is he reacts to the actions that we're given to take, our steps, so to speak. But there seems to be things that you and I both need to do that the Lord will actively accomplish in the interim of us stepping out in faith. That's the big part, stepping out in faith. And a lot of people think, well, I'm not going to do anything at all because I don't want to make a mistake. Well, that's not putting your faith in action. That's just being fearful that you're not going to be able to accomplish or do what you think God's calling you to do. The first part that we need to see here is that you and I should talk to God through prayer about our desires, our concerns and worries, and the dreams that we have. Why? Because in our quietness, or should I say stillness, the tension of waiting or the worriness of waiting will allow us to read more thoroughly into his word and be more diligent to learn more about not only his love for us, but his character. You know, while I myself seek the answers and the care and the encouragement that I need from him each and every day, I need to develop patience and grow in my faith so that I can be stretched, which some of us don't like to be stretched, and also strengthened in my ability to stand firm. Now, during this time in my life, I can be so actively waiting, and I'll begin to see God and what he does in my life, like he did with David, and then I'll be lifted up out of a pit in this particular situation, as David was, to be given a firm place to stand and to receive a new song in my spirit of praise. Yes, I said yes. Waiting is so much more than merely taking a time out, or you could even call it a pause, a stillness for that moment. Because what it's going to do is it's going to allow me, and you too, to experience God in a more personal way, in a more intimate way, in a deeper way. You know, whatever is going on in your life right now, I challenge you to wait and let God give you the directions that you need. Now, let me share this with you. To think that if we're just going to wait for God's perfect will in our lives, then we shouldn't have to do anything because He's already got it all planned out. He already knows it all. He's already known about it all and what we're going to do, say, and think. But what God wants from us is not just excuse me, obedience in what we do under His will, but what He also wants for us to do is to trust Him in the experience. When I wait on the Lord for something that I need or something that I want or something that I'm desiring in my life, or the struggles that I may have with whatever the situation may be, and we all have problems. It could be with our jobs, it could be with our spouses, it could be with our kids, it could be with the money that we manage. I mean, I could go on and on and on. The list is endless. I don't think that God has an ear to only those that He wants to serve over those that think that they're not worthy to be served or to have the service of God even answer their prayers. That's not true. So the more that we take a moment of stillness and listen to what God is telling us, we have the opportunity to never, ever have to make sure that it's too late for us to wait. Or maybe that we went in the wrong direction and God can't correct our path. That's not true. He will. But what I challenge you with today is this. Wait on God and leave all the circumstances to Him in what He has you do. And I'll encourage you today. God has a plan for your life. He always has. And He loves you more than you could ever imagine, more than anyone in this world could ever love you. And He did that on the cross. Take a moment and ponder that love in a way that only you can understand from Him. Thanks for listening today. I hope in somehow or some possible way God has used me to encourage you over these past 3 years, to encourage you through the messages that He's given to me to share with you. I would encourage you to share these messages with your friends. Maybe there's something in there that they need to hear that God is trying to tell them. Whatever it may be, thank the Lord for the opportunity to be served and to serve. Have a blessed day. I hope to see you again. Come back.